You know, every single business out there has a big vision, right? A brilliant strategy. But let's be real, how many actually manage to see it all the way through? The real challenge, the modern challenge, isn't just coming up with the plan, it's actually turning that plan into action. And that gap, well, that's what we're going to dig into today. I mean, come on, let's be honest for a second. Have you ever been in a meeting where a big, exciting new strategic plan gets unveiled, only to see that same plan end up as a PDF file collecting digital dust somewhere? It's such a common frustration, isn't it? That huge chasm between planning and actually doing. And let's face it, it's harder now than it has ever been. Today's projects are this crazy web of different departments, insane deadlines, and some pretty massive risks. Just trying to get everyone rowing in the same direction, on time and on budget, well, that takes a whole lot more than a fancy document. It takes real, hands-on leadership. So that's the big question. How do you bridge that gap? Well, today we're going to look at a solution through the eyes of a professional who lives and breathes this stuff, Claudia Reid. She has literally built her entire career on turning complex strategies into real-world action. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures her whole philosophy. It's not about just managing a checklist of tasks. It's about bringing in the kind of leadership that can slice through all that complexity we just talked about and actually get things done. So who is she really? Well, her career kind of stands on three main pillars. She's a hands-on project manager down in the trenches. She's a high-level business consultant, seeing the big picture. And she's an author who has literally written the book on tech project management. When you put all that together, you've got this incredible mix of execution and strategy. And this is where we really get to the heart of what she does, project leadership. See, this isn't about spreadsheets and Gantt charts. This is about the human side of things. Actually motivating people, keeping them engaged, and making sure everyone feels accountable and aligned. Honestly, that's the stuff that makes or breaks a project. Okay. So what does this project leadership actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's pop the hood and take a look at our toolkit. The absolute key here is that she has a super versatile, multidisciplinary way of tackling these big, hairy problems. I mean, just take a second and look at this list. This is the heavy stuff. These are some of the toughest challenges a company can face. We're talking about everything from integrating two entirely different companies after a merger and acquisition or M&A, all the way to a massive supply chain overhaul. She has a specific playbook for each one. And here's the thing, she's not a one-trick pony when it comes to how she does it. Whether a project needs the super flexible, iterative style of Agile, perfect for something like a software build where things are always changing, or the structured, step-by-step approach of waterfall, she's a master of both. She picks the right tool for the job. She doesn't force the job to fit the tool. Okay, so theory is one thing, but what about real-world results? That's what really counts, right? So let's dive into a case study to see what this level of project leadership can actually accomplish. 40%. Seriously, just let that number hang in the air for a moment. For one of her clients, a global telecom company, this was the direct impact of her leadership. So the big question is, 40% of what? Get this. She accelerated their entire product development timeline by 40%. And the how here is just a masterclass. It wasn't magic, it was a super disciplined process. First, she came in and assessed exactly what was needed. Second, she made sure everyone knew their role and how to communicate. Third, and this is so important, she didn't wait for problems to happen. She proactively hunted down risks and shut them down. And finally, she kept senior leadership in the loop the entire time. That is how you turn a plan into a result. You don't just pull a number like that out of a hat, right? A result like that doesn't come from a textbook. It comes from deep, hard-won experience. And in her case, we're talking about a career that spans more than 2 decades, delivering these kinds of wins over and over again. And when you look at her journey, it's actually fascinating. She started deep in the world of finance, at giants like Chase and Wells Fargo. That's where she mastered the details of risk, process, and compliance. Then she pivoted into tech project management, but she brought that rigorous, numbers-driven mindset with her, and that's her secret weapon. That deep financial grounding gives her this unique and powerful perspective on ROI, on the return on investment. And don't think for a second it's just high-level strategy. She's got the technical chops to back it all up. She's totally fluent in core project tools like Jira and Azure DevOps, and has deep, hands-on experience with specialized loan systems. But check out her certifications: cloud migration, cybersecurity, even AI. This proves she's not just managing the project from afar, she truly understands the tech that's driving it. Okay, so all of this is great, but it all comes down to one big question, right? What's the actual value here? What's the tangible, bottom line return you get when you bring this level of leadership to a project you absolutely cannot afford to fail? $75. Now, when I first saw that number from a sample contract, I had to do a double take. For a consultant with 2 decades of experience delivering these kinds of massive results for huge corporations, well, that figure completely reframes the conversation. It's not a cost, it's an investment with a massive potential upside. Because in the end, that's the whole point. This is what exceptional project leadership is all about. It takes that big picture vision that we talked about at the beginning, and it turns it into a measurable, successful reality. It's about making sure every dollar spent and every hour worked is laser focused on one thing: maximizing your return on investment. And so that leaves us with one last question, and this one is for you to think about. Take a look at your own organization's most critical projects right now. Are they really on track? Are they delivering every ounce of value they possibly could? If there's even a tiny bit of hesitation in your answer, it might be time to think about what exceptional leadership could change.